They say you never really know a harbor until you've seen it at dawn when the fog hugs the water, thick as secrets, and even the seagulls keep quiet, waiting for the world to make its first move. That's the kind of morning it was in Valen Harbor when I found myself steering a borrowed cutter called Sea Whisper toward Dock 4. Way too early for anyone sane to be out except maybe someone with a habit of chasing trouble or hiding from it. And me? Let's just say, after 15 years working my way up through naval systems command-dodging bureaucracy, double-checking every line of code, never dropping the bally knew the difference, but sometimes you gotta chase trouble just to see what happens. I'd logged my test run at 0400 sharp, buried the authorization in places most folks wouldn't even know how to find, and the plan was simple. Test the new novice system, get the real-world data, and stay so far under the radar that nobody from up top could muscle in with their cameras and questions. The Sea Whisper wasn't exactly much to look at 26 feet of unmarked fiberglass. Nothing fancy, but she was mine for the day, and as I glided up to the restricted dock, cut the engine, and let her drift in on momentum, I felt that weird, steady thrill you get when you know you're about to break a few rules in the name of doing something right. Everything was buttoned up just solens tied, fenders checked, nav's panel glowing that soft blue that means everything's humming along. I stood for a second breathing salt air, letting the first cut of sunlight slice through the mist, and thought, yeah, maybe just this once things'll go according to plan. But you know how it goes right when you think you're invisible? Life sends you two beat cops with more attitude than sense. Boots clomped on the dock behind me. I didn't even turn at first, just caught the way their silhouettes swaggered out of the patrol shed like they were about to hassle some lost tourist. Derek Vermig full of steaming coffee, eyes already squinting for trouble, and Marcus Tager, who couldn't even finish buttoning his jacket before sizing up my boat like it was parked in his own driveway. "You're lost," Tager muttered, voice thick with that special kind of local suspicion. Too small, too quiet, no transponder ping. They didn't bother checking any logs, just locked eyes, decided I didn't belong, and moved in. I turned, calm as I could manage, and let them talk. "Ma'am, this is a restricted dock," Rur called, his tone pure regulation used to being obeyed, probably never challenged by anyone who looked like me. "Can't moor here without proper authorization. ID, please." I sized them up, hands near belts, ready to escalate, not a flicker of restraint. I'd led squads in hot zones with more discipline than these two on a sleepy dock. "My authorization's in the system log, filed at 0400, I said, not budging an inch, let them make the next move. Tager just snorted. "System log, huh? This isn't some laptop rental joint, lady. Dock 4's military. You're trespassing." Rur stepped closer, his voice dropping the pretense of politeness. "Name? Don't make me ask twice." I reached for my satchel slow and, careful nobody gets jumpy on my watch and, pulled my ID, crisp regulation, not a scratch out of place. Rur didn't even look. He just flicked it onto the deck like a used napkin. "Fake. You're claiming to be a commander on this thing." The morning light caught the security seal, but neither of them bothered to check. "Step back. Hands behind your back." The words cracked the calm like a gull's cry. I did as told, quiet, not resisting zip ties bit deep, shoulders aching already, but I stayed stone still. Tager boarded Sea Whisper like he owned her, tearing through my gear, tossing everything, blankets, tools, even my life raft onto the dock, the chaos of months of work destroyed in 5 angry minutes. "You're awfully quiet," Rur said, leaning in, pushing my chin down against the deck. "What happened to all that Navy authority? No threats. Nobody coming to bail you out?" My wrist throbbed, knees burned, but I just breathed. Let them have their theater. Then Tager found the novice panel, ripped it open, cables snapping, screen still blinking my hard-won data. He smashed it with his boot, months of research gone in a pop. I didn't flinch. He found the backup drives, tossed them in the harbor, grinned as they vanished. My satchel followed, splashing out of sight. "We've had all kinds come through here," Rur mused, shaking his head. "Never one like you. You must be crazy." People had started to gather paddle boarders, a woman by the fuel pump with her phone up, a service tech frozen by a bollard. They watched, filmed, whispered, but nobody stepped in. That's the thing about bystanders. Everyone's waiting for someone else to move. Through it all, I just knelt there, silent, not defeated, not scared, just waiting. Because sometimes the loudest move you make is no move at all. They called backup, radios crackling, more boots on the way, and the crowd kept growing, phones everywhere now, catching every second. When a Marine patrol boat showed up, sirens off, engines snarling, things shifted. 2 tactical officers hopped out, guns drawn, all business. Hands where we can see them. The lead officer's voice cut through everything. "Sir, she's already restrained," Rur said, a little less sure now. The squad leaders scanned the scene, spotted my ID on the dock, stooped, and really looked. The pause that followed, man, you could feel it in your teeth. "I am Sabrina Hartley," I said, calm as ever. "Commander, Naval Systems Command." That changed everything. The air went sharp, weapons dropped. The lead officer stiffened and saluted formal, unblinking, in front of the whole crowd. Phones wobbled. Someone whispered, "Did he say commander?" Like maybe the tide had just turned and nobody told them. A backup officer cut my zip ties gentle this time, man. I stood, brushing off my jacket, not saying a word about the marks on my wrists or the busted gear or the data lost to the water. I didn't look at the crowd or the men who dragged me down. I looked out at the harbor, steady as ever. The men who tied me up froze, Rur's mouth working, Tager actually stepping back like maybe the wind had knocked something loose in his head. "Secure the perimeter," I said, my voice flat. "Get those logs uploaded before anything else disappears." Instantly, everyone moved. The same guys who ignored me before now snapped to attention, obeying without question. That first video went up online by sunset. 36 seconds of me, zip-tied and kneeling, 2 officers ransacking my boat, the crowd too stunned to move. No context, just the cold fact of it. Viral by nightfall. Then the second video surfaced, the moment the squad saluted and the world realized who I was. News anchors tearing it apart, social feeds exploding, commentators asking why nobody stepped in, why bystanders just watched. It didn't stop there. Within a day, a senator demanded an inquiry, waving my photo at a press conference. An internal affairs officer, Captain Maria Kessler, known for eating corruption for breakfast, was put on the case. She started pulling records, calling old officers, piecing together years of ignored complaints. What started as a single morning's humiliation became proof of a bigger rot, dozens of cases, all squashed under the same names, the same system that counted on no one looking too close. The leaks began, redacted reports, memos about shutting people up, even an email from a commander saying, "If she resists, book her. If not, book her anyway." Now the story wasn't just about might, was about everyone they'd silenced before. By the time the press conference came around, the only thing missing was a name for who would pay. And in all that noise, I said nothing. Not to the cameras, not to the crowd. Sometimes, you let others do the talking, let the truth land on its own. And just when it seemed like everything would drown in headlines, the final test came: a federal courthouse breach, hostages, armed suspect. The harbor went in a lockdown, tactical units scrambled, and those same officers who'd tried to break me stood useless, benched for their trouble. I moved through the chaos, slipped into the command van, grabbed a plate carrier, took my place at the comms console. Nobody argued. "Watch his pacing," I told the SWAT operator. 12-second intervals. He's reading demands. Run facial rec, look for former transport, dishonorable discharge, risk scars. They did. Found him, confirmed the pattern. I keyed the mic. "Jackson Miller, you're surrounded. No one's hurt yet. Let them Goyu know how this ends." The room froze. He set his weapon down. Hostages came out unharmed, and it was over in minutes. When I stepped out into the sunlight, the blood from the dock was long dry, but still visible. One last reminder, just in case I needed it. Rur and Tager watched from the shadows, silent now, no smirks left. I walked right past the place where they'd thrown my satchel, didn't even slow down. I hadn't changed, died, just finished what I came to do. Evaluate a system under pressure, see what failed, and maybe, just maybe, make something better out of it. 3 months later, sea whisper drifted quiet outside the breakwater, sun soft on the water, my niece's feet kicking off the port side, fishing rod bouncing. My sister hummed up at the bow, the tune lost to the breeze. When the fish bit, I knelt to help, slow and gentle. "Why do you love boats so much?" my niece asked. I looked at her, the water, the sky, the silence between us. "Because it's honest," I said. "The sea doesn't care who you are, only how you move." We stayed out till the sun fell. I turned us home, ropes coiled tight, humming with the water's lull. No applause, no headlines, just the quiet win of not kneeling except when it mattered for someone else. Sometimes the loudest thing in the room is the silence you leave behind, and I'd learned that was the kind that sticks. If this story hit home for you, go ahead, subscribe, join our little corner of everyday legends, and let me know where you're watching from down below. Was it right? Was it wrong? What does justice look like to you? Let's talk about it.